And we are back, and this is my first of the day, so I'm very excited. I've known Tim for a long time, and we were talking yesterday. We were like, how did we meet each other? And we're like, I have no idea. So it's great. And, Tim, introduce yourself, let everyone know kind of what you do.
Yeah, no, I agree. My name's Tim Mathy. I'm a senior partner with Speak Inc. Speakers Bureau, kind of a weird name, and I am a board member of IASB, which I think we're going to talk a little bit about too. But yeah, I've known you, but I don't know how. We're social media friends, and for a while, and I don't know how.
Forever.
It's
industry.
That's kind of this industry, though, right? You just kind of know people and you know where.
I think that's the strange thing. Like, Tim pops up in the most unusual. I was literally walking down the hallway. I was like, is that Tim Mathy? The last person I expected to see here. And then, of course, he's got 4 other people. But you had a speaker who was working on Smart Monday, right?
We did. We brought in Phil Hansen, who's a artist, speaker, done a TED Talk, and he's kind of cool because, he speaks, but also what he does, he did like an art piece. So he had the attendees do little pieces of art, and then he went in like a private room for 5 hours, him and his assistant, and busted out this John Lennon piece. And it's awesome. You can look at MPI did a YouTube link to it, but it's incredible. It's just like a different, just add some value to this more normal keynote, well received. No, quite honestly, we've already got some business from it, so it's cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's interesting because with these speakers now, some of us, we're speakers, and so you're constantly being asked, like, what other value can you bring? And oftentimes it's, a book signing. And it's like, well, what else can I do? And so, thinking on that, and what trends are you seeing that people are asking for?
No, that's a good lead-in. I think, one of the things I think as far as value is just, and I think one of the biggest trends is they're asking for more. Be it the book signing or even, after the keynote. The keynote's usually at 10,000-foot level. But, after, do me a breakout right after, and we'll bring in how we can really improve your association or business. That's a huge trend going on right now. And also just technology from both sides, right. Be it from, the meeting professional side as far as what they're using and how they adapt to that, but also from the speaker side, PowerPoint, it's a boring dead
Death
tool. But,
by
exactly,
PowerPoint.
And how do you keep the cutting edge as far as how your slides and different things are going? So they need to.
So you're saying overhead projectors are coming back?
You know what? I think they need to come back, or the old slides where the circle.
Yes.
I would be very interested in seeing a keynote with one of those. Yeah. That'd be awesome. I'd love that.
But some, they have that cool AV to them, even when and it's like, how do they have that? And some speakers, like I joke, they won't let you take up the first 5 minutes because they want to keep proprietary how they're doing that cool intro or whatever it might be.
Yeah, well, one of the other things we were talking about, I was actually at an event with Tim back in April for the International Association of Speakers Bureaus, and it was funny because I was literally the only meeting planner there. It's a very small community. So kind of unpack, because I think it's one of those places where what's a bureau versus a speaker's agent versus hiring directly a speaker as a planner? Tell me a little bit about the layers and where you fit into it as well as the association.
Yeah, sure, you got it. And it is a small kind of division, I think, of the meeting world. But at the same time, if you ask meeting planners, they're like, why are all these bureaus calling me, and where'd they come from? I think we're like coming from underground. It's bothering people. But basically, there's speaker bureaus everywhere. And what we try to do is just help you make your life easier and make you look good by booking speakers. You look at a 5-minute tape and you're like, this person's great, but we really have the knowledge as far as who's good, who's not, who's easy to work with, and make your event a success. Also, if there's a problem, we can be an insurance policy. And think about it. If you book a speaker once, they're going to be, they have a problem with that, so be it. But if someone like myself or a different bureau books them 20, 30, 40 times a year, that's a lot of money going into them. So I think there's just more credibility there with the speakers bureaus. And there's different types. You have exclusive, so they manage some speakers exclusively, and there's others like myself, my bureau, Speak Inc. We're non-exclusive, so we really try to push it that the meeting professional is our client. And then you also have speaker management companies that manage speakers, where speaker bureaus call the management companies.
That's not confusing at all.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. No, but it is, and it should be simplified, but it really is a simple process. We just try to make, honestly, life easier, and we have access to all the speakers out there.
In my mind, I just had one of those string things, like in
they
a
had
crime
something
movie.
Like that at ISB. I was like, what you need to do is put this on MPI's website, because I was taking a picture and I was sending it to my friends. I was like, look this.
Yeah. And I will even like the conference, ISB conference. Like we're
why is it so secret?
We're growing and we're small, but we really need to get ourselves involved more with, different industry associations, or even like you were saying, why are you the only meeting professional there? And I think sounds bad, but I think for my speaker bureau world, we live in fear. Like if you show up or meeting planners show up, we're going to poach each other, which is stupid, because it should be a relationship-based business.
God, and you had these incredible speakers on stage who were auditioning. And, I think from a trend perspective, in that room, I was seeing speakers that they're like, this is going to be the next big thing. So what are the trends? Are people using more bureaus or the recommendations? Or is it really you're seeing a lot of planners just go directly out and try and find those speakers themselves?
It's both. I think, the first part is, when we talk about technology being a trend, but I think it's also a negative, because I think meeting planners are out there. And I know this might be hard to believe. What on the internet is not always accurate. And they're going on the internet and they're finding, Joe Blow speaker, and they're like, oh, I'm going to find this person and fees, and it's not accurate what they're finding out there. Right. So then they try to go direct, and a lot of times they'll just work with people like myself. But what I think Velvet Chainsaw did a study a couple years ago, 50% of meeting professionals use speaker bureaus, and in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, it should be higher, but I also think it's better for meeting professionals, because like anything else, we're hopefully a better partner to save you time and energy.
So I was just seeing on Facebook, literally I think this morning, someone goes, I have this much money, I'm looking for a speaker on this topic, and they're in some Facebook group for event professionals, and they're asking for does anyone know anybody? And it's such a strange way to do business, and I get it. I'm the social media guy. I'm like, oh, that's cool, whatever. But at the same time, there's companies you can reach out to.
But I think they think it costs money to use a bureau.
No, that's correct, and it doesn't. We're the same price. If you call them direct or you call me, it's the same price. It's almost like the old travel agency model. So really, we just add value at the same time. It's just, it's a world that people just aren't that familiar with. But yet, you think about it, you put a professional speaker in front of your 3,000 attendees up there and senior level people. If they suck, you're done.
Right.
You're not going to get fired for the meat being a little chewy. But if that speaker is really bad, it's really a problem. And that's where I think speaker bureaus come in, because we know who's good, who's not, and it's just not finding somebody on the internet.
And you can see the difference when there's a good speaker versus a bad speaker. I mean, I live tweet, so I'm sitting there and I'm watching the social media, and it goes dark. That's a problem.
Or they start I was there one time where on the screen they were live tweeting the actual piece, and the speaker veered off into left field, and you just watched the audience turn, and then the Twitter turned, and they couldn't get the feed down. And I was sitting there in the back. I was like, oh no.
It's a problem. But on the same flip side, the data there is really interesting too. Where are the peaks in the social media hashtag being used for the event? And if it's a really good speaker, you see those peaks.
You're right. And, also even on the front end, we're seeing more and more where in contracts they're requiring, Joe's speaker to go and put 5 tweets as they're going ahead to help promote that event. Or even, a really good or smart speaker they'll tweet stuff out there on stage because they know the timing of what's going to happen, and it comes right out. And it's not a hard thing, but it's brilliant because it just keeps that live and that momentum going within the presentation.
It's funny you say that. So I was at an event last week, and I won't say the name of the speaker.
Oh no, I remember this.
I think I saw you send something out of this. Maybe I'm wrong.
But I put out a tweet. I was live tweeting, and the speaker retweeted me while they were still on stage, and I'm like, I know that is not them retweeting that. And all of a sudden it took me out of it. I was really excited. I was like, wait a second. She's not holding her phone. Totally took me out of it.
But that authenticity piece, I think, is it's good feedback. And sometimes the speakers can be a little difficult in hearing that. Yeah. So that's where an agent partner can become so crucial, because you really can pass that information back and forth and have a better experience. Because you talked a lot about you can lose your job if the speaker sucks. Yeah. But it's also, if they're difficult to work with, you have somebody who they work with them all the time, so the nuances and help us kind of avoid the pitfalls, but also their lives because they're on the road so much.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, that's my job, is to be honest, give them honest feedback. And like I said, the meeting professional is my client, not the speaker, so I'm happy to share my thoughts. And at the end of the day, being on stage, in my opinion, is the easy part. Right. They do that all the time. It's not asking for green M&Ms or being on time for your AV check.
So that's important.
That stuff's so easy, but they don't realize sometimes it's like, why do I have to be there 2 hours early? Well, because they have 5 other people they need to get up there, and that stuff is kind of. But that's where I think, speaker bureaus come into play because we're able to kind of help manage that.
So what do you see is the future of this? Like, what in your mind are you seeing the direction going?
You hear different things as far as, the keynote's dead or it might change. In my opinion, and even the TED Talk, I don't think it is. I think it's almost like a play. If you have somebody up there captivating you, think about it. If a good speaker, you remember that signature story, whatever it might be, that point of data. And sometimes that 60 minutes seems like it's 2 minutes. And I think there's good speakers out there, and they're going to continue because they can really, there's a small piece of that pie, but they can make an event. They can set, even before, like you have an opening keynote, and if they set that energy, that trade show's better. If they speak about whatever it might be, there's more better dialogue and engagement. So in my opinion, it changes. It's going to adapt a little bit, but I still think if you have a great presenter up there, they're still going to kill it.
So I want to talk something you said at the very beginning, trend-wise, because this is something that seems to be happening more frequently, insurance against cancellations. So what does that mean, and how does that bode for the event professional who's trying to have a backup plan and still plan a great show and promote?
Well, it happens. I mean, act of God, whatever it might be. But I think that's where if you're doing it on your own, you don't know who to call. You're in trouble. But it does happen. So, we're able to get other speakers there. It happened a couple weeks ago where someone had a death in the family. I called another speaker who was even more. They just came in, same fee, and we're just able to handle that right away. And it just makes things a lot easier. And I see that a lot. I'll get calls sometimes where my speaker canceled, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. And they're like, but then it helps me because I come in and be the hero. But if you just use somebody in the first place, it just makes that more seamless. Exactly. And it does happen, but for the most part, we just want to make it a no-brainer and a seamless process.
So if you had one tip for planners, something that maybe they don't already know about working with speakers bureaus and things like that, what would that tip be?
Good question. Just one. I just think at the end of the day, I think speaker bureaus will make your life easier, and go with people you trust. There's a ton of us out there, but just go with somebody, I think my job's easy. If I make you look good and your job easier, you're going to use us. And I think that should be, your thing with speaker bureaus, like you do with your other partners in the industry. I think sometimes meeting professionals forget that speaker bureaus can be a partner where they should look at it that way.
So where can we find more information about all the bureaus that are out there, and then as well as yourself?
Sure. No, ISB.org, International Association of Speakers Bureaus. Check us out. And look there too, because we are an accredited bureau, association, and you want to make sure you work with good bureaus. 'Cause like anything else, there are some that might not be members, and you just want to be careful as far as how that works. I'm Tim Mathy, speaking.com. Check me out. I'm all over social media.
There's really good YouTube videos out there.
Yeah, I do these. That's right. Now real quick. I used to do these, go up and do my promo bit, and no one cared, right? I'm Tim Mathy speaking, and we book speakers, and so like 10 years ago, I did this funny video, and it took off, and I've done like 4 or 5 since, and there's probably a good possibility there might be one at PCMA in January. So
it's like the ultimate sizzle reel.
People wait for this.
Yeah, no, and it's so embarrassing because I'm not like any kind of actor or comedian. I'm not, so I get embarrassed when I see them. But yeah, they're a good little connection piece. Thanks for that. That's funny. I forgot about those.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, we'll be right back with our next guest.